Hey, everybody. Hi, welcome back to the Aligned Strength Podcast, where we align strength through mind, body, and spirit. I'm your host, Mandy Scow, host of Fit For You Aligned Strength, as well as the owner of Fit For You Fitness in Trumpeau, Wisconsin. And I'm excited for our guest today. We have a guest, Karen goes by Zuzu, so we can call her Zuzu here in the podcast. And she is from Lilly Fields Center. So Zuzu is a holistic health practitioner and co-founder of Lilly Fields Center. Her personal journey began with overcoming epilepsy and later reversing other chronic conditions through nutrition and natural healing. So welcome to the podcast, Zuzu.
Thank you. And I love Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. That's where I raised our family. Yeah. I had a wellness center and a cafe in, get this, Neno, Wisconsin. Population of 400 people. There were more cows than humans. But that's where I opened because it was one of those build it, they will come. And then we moved our big facility, well, we moved our store at least to West Bend, Wisconsin. And then I owned a daycare. We had two daycare centers also. And I had a childcare center in Waldo, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and in Allenton, Wisconsin. So yeah, we love Wisconsin. It's my favorite state still. I don't care. There's more alcohol there than the entire rest of the country combined. It is the best state ever. You guys take advantage if you go to Wisconsin. Those of you living there, oh my word, eat it up. So
Yeah.
anytime, Mandy, I'll come to your center anytime and we'll play and make food and have a great time because any reason to get to Wisconsin, I'll be
Oh,
there.
that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be super great.
Very good. Well, let's get into our topic is going to be on gut health. What is gut health really? Let's start with foundational. When we say gut health, what are we actually talking about?
That is a perfect question. So, as a holistic healthcare practitioner, my very most important thing is to teach people where body parts are. Because we actually, I founded, and my daughter Amy and I, it was Karen's Holistic Health, but it's an online school of natural medicine. And we changed it to Holistic Health Educators back in 2020. And now we're international, 100 languages. Like, this is what we do: education, education, education. And when people understand where their digestive system is and what is hurting when they point to it, the whole world changes for them. Because I don't think we've been taught enough, like where everything is. And so we might literally, I'm gonna stand up for this one. We might think, oh, my stomach hurts. That's not your stomach. You know, your stomach is over here on the left side. And so if you look at the digestive, it starts here in the mouth with your salivary glands that are producing saliva. And then you're chewing your food, always chew your food, even your smoothies and your juices. It comes on your esophagus and you have a lower esophageal sphincter, right above the stomach. And then that food comes into the stomach, which is right here. It's right behind the rib cage, you know. So if you know where your rib is, your stomach's protected all of the time. And then it'll squirt. Once that gets acidic enough, that's a key point. We'll cover acid reflux. Super easy to get rid of that. Super, super, super easy. And so the stomach is churning and churning, and it squirts into the duodenum or duodenum, depending on what country you're in. And so that will then come into the small intestine. The duodenum is about 11 inches, very important. We'll tell you in a minute why. And then that small intestine wraps around about 23 feet of it. 23 feet is in here. Is that crazy or what, right? And it ends right about here. So my belly button's right here. My hip is right here. Right in between is your ileocecal valve and your appendix, both crucial. And then your colon, actually, it goes up. So it ascends. Some of you only a couple inches because it comes right to under your rib cage. And then it transverses and then it descends and exits. So now if I say, oh, I have a stomach ache, you know that's not your stomach. That is going to be your small intestine. But if it's up a little more, oh, it hurts right here, that's your transverse colon. Oh, it hurts right here. Okay, now we're looking. We have to know where our body parts are. So appendix and and the ileocecal valve. It's so important because I've had people come all the time and they're like, oh, but it hurts right here, and I'm like, okay, you're pointing at your gallbladder, which is right there. And so that's so important to know. Well, on this side, I was trying to reflect to you, but that doesn't work well. And
Yeah.
and so I think when we understand like how it works, And the key to your gut health is all the valves. You have a valve. So you have a, right, you're swallowing, you swallow, that tongue is actually a valve. And then you come down, your lower esophageal sphincter is a valve and it keeps food in your stomach. The pyloric sphincter is on the other side, that's a valve, right? And then your food goes through those 11 inches, then the small intestine ends up at another valve, which is your ileocecal valve. And that's supposed to stay shut. It's not supposed to stay open.
Mm-hmm.
But we have gut issues because we get really sediment, we sit a lot, we don't exercise as much, we don't stretch our body. And so that can get open. And then all of that bacteria in the colon, which is where your microbiome is supposed to be. Well, you have it all over the body, but a lot of it in the colon, it just goes over into the small intestine. Now we have bloating and we can talk about that. And so these valves are all so important because they trigger peristalsis all along the way. And if we stop our peristalsis, which a lot of people have issues with that, then we end up, being ill and then we can have all sorts of problems. So there
Mm-hmm.
you go. You asked one simple question and I went off on my tangent because I'm unleashed these days and that's just how it is. So.
No, that's good. That's good. So I've also heard, and I don't know a lot about it, but the term leaky gut. Can you explain that and how? Yeah.
Super simple. Yep. And this is how you know if you have it. If you have an allergy, you have leaky gut. If you
Okay.
had a stroke, you have leaky gut. Like a lot of people are walking around with leaky gut and they just don't know what it is. So perfect question. Perfect question, Mandy. So that small intestine,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as your food is broken down into chyme in the stomach, and that chyme comes through the pyloric sphincter into the small intestine, there are millions per inch of your small intestine of villi. And this is exactly what a villi looks like. These are called microvilli. So if I have two villi, they're sealed together, creating a tight junction. Dedenosomes hold this, right? Now, leaky gut is when there's a hole in the tight junction. So imagine someone, I don't have leaky gut. So mine is really tight. And then everything I eat or drink is coming along, floating along, woohoo, and the villi are going to pull the nutrients out of my bloodstream, out of everything that I'm just eating is passing right through, right? In between the villi, you have specific bacteria that actually grab food and can help change it into vitamins and minerals. Like it's super cool. Like you already have vitamins and minerals, but you can build them, right? They can build into different products. They can be broken down in building. Bacteria is incredible. You're more bacteria than you are human cells. So leaky gut is simply when there's a hole, and this is how you know when I said allergies. If there's an allergen, well, theoretically speaking, everything is going to come right into the bloodstream, go right to the liver, be told what to do. In leaky gut, it goes right into the bloodstream the wrong way. So your food is supposed to go through digestion, be absorbed then into the body.
Mm-hmm.
Leaky gut, whoop, it goes right into the bloodstream. And then your white blood cells are like, alert, alert, there is a almond or a peanut or whatever, in section 44, attack. And then the white blood cells attack, and now you're allergic to almonds. But you're really not allergic to almonds, you just have leaky gut. And so I actually teach a lot of classes on reversing every single ailment known to man. Every allergy known to man can and may be reversed. It is really a lot of gut protocol. And then we do something called oral immunotherapy that also will help. And so it's been neat. We've been able to watch allergies, everything, cats, dogs, hair, anything go away. But it is important that we understand that. So I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah, and honestly, after we're done with this podcast, I want to connect with you personally for that because because I have food sensitivities. Wheat, big time in wheat. So I'm strictly gluten free, but I can totally tell that I have that leaky gut. So I will definitely. So then I can maybe do your protocol, and then we can revisit another podcast and talk about that experience. That would be
Anytime.
fabulous. Um, but besides that, what from your experience, what are the most common gut issues that you see today?
Oh, this is a great, you're just full of great questions, Mandy. I love it. I get on so many podcasts and some of them, bless their soul, they're real nice, but like it's very boring questions. I'm like, okay, how do I make this exciting? You're like, jump into the meat, honey. That's so great. So I see a lot of candida. Oh my gosh. And I see a lot of parasites, which cause a lot of problems in the gut, and then bloating. And bloating is normally from one of three things: Candida overgrowth, and then SIBO and CMO. And let me explain all three of those, because anybody watching right now who knows anybody who has bloating, this is going to be 99.7% of the time all you need to know. And you just saved yourself a really expensive doctor's visit. So please donate to Lilly Field Center, because we're a nonprofit trying to save the world. But anyhow, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm totally just teasing. But anyhow, and so Candida is like Pac-Man, and we're old enough we still play Pac-Man because we're cool. But and so when you have too much sugar in the bloodstream, and that's glucose. And by the way, I'm not talking just white sugar or brown sugar.
Mhm.
All grain is starch, and it turns into sugar. So all of your starches turn into sugar, whether it be starch from a potato or starch from barley or
Mhm.
oats or wheat or any of that, right? And so all the sugar we consume, dairy is sugar, right? That's sugar for a baby calf to get from 60 pounds to hundreds of pounds. And they need a lot of sugar and very specific fat content and protein content. That is not designed for us. We are not designed to nurse out of a cow. I understand if you do, addiction is real, and I get it. I'm from Wisconsin. So raw cheese once in a while is good. I have to tease because you're from Wisconsin. So I had my two centers open in Wisconsin, and someone came in one day and they put a newspaper on my desk, and the headline, the Milwaukee Journal, which you know what that is,
Yeah.
was milk consumption down like 39%. And they were like, "You caused this." I was like, "Now wait a minute, don't be, you know," because even the dairy farmers would come to see me, and I would get them off all the dairy, and they'd get better. People don't realize how mucus is so not good for our
Yeah.
bodies. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. I just thought it was cute. But anyhow, and so sugars go into the bloodstream, and out. This is the kicker. If people learn one thing today, this is it. Our body is designed to have 1 teaspoon of sugar in the bloodstream, in the body at all times. 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. That's all you need in the blood. That's 1 teaspoon of sugar. You get what? 1 gram is 3 to 4 teaspoons, right? So we're looking at, you get 3 to 4 teaspoons of sugar just from one piece of bread. So when you have a sandwich, you've got a lot of sugar in the bloodstream.
Mhm.
And so what Candida does, and everybody has Candida. You just want to avoid Candida overgrowth, because that's one of the three things with bloating. So Candida, boop, 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 comes along and eats all of the extra sugar, which is great, because then you're not going to get diabetes, which you also can get rid of that. But anyhow, and so Candida comes along and it eats up all the sugar, but Candida likes sugar, and so all of a sudden it's like making lots of Candida, and now you have all this Candida, and it's all liking sugar, and you're craving sugar. Human beings never crave sugar. We live off of glucose. The glucose is the fuel for our body, and we get it in all that we eat. Carbohydrates are in all your vegetables. They're in the plants behind me if you're hungry. Don't worry. I won't let them. You can eat my orchid, but don't eat my orchids. But like, carbohydrates are in all the food that we eat. And
Mhm.
so if we think about sugar being overgrown, Candida off gases, and it causes gas. But here's the telltale sign you have Candida: is watery eyes. If you look at someone, everybody you look at now, you're gonna look at their eyes. Oh, you have Candida overgrowth, right? An itchy scalp, toenail fungus, athlete's foot, white stuff on the skin, vaginal discharge, and vaginal issues, like yeast infections. And so, did I mention dandruff? And there's all these different things, and it's interesting because you might see truck drivers driving. I know I'm going to haunt you now, and you'll be having they'll have their elbow out, and you'll see this white stuff on their skin. That's Candida overgrowth too, kind of gross. But anyhow, but Candida is off gassing, and then that can cause bloating. However, this is the kicker, and I'm going to bring parasites up for a moment here, because we do live blood cell analysis, so we can take a drop of your blood, put it under the microscope, and look and see what's going on. And this was really, I used to always treat Candida first. I mean, always, 2 decades, Candida, 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 and it worked. I was getting rid of Candida. It just took a long time for some people. Now I understood why when I started doing live blood cell analysis, because white blood cells now in this day and age will ignore the Candida and go for the parasites, because the parasites are literally killing you. Parasites are creating hormones you've never heard of. When you get rid of parasites, you can have a transformation of your personality.
I
Transformation of your
I
personality.
want to touch on that because I last full moon I did a parasite cleanse, and I am set up to do it here March 1st again, but
Mhm.
I got really, really sick.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, would that be because of like my leaky gut? Should I have like gone
Mhm.
half the dose?
No.
Or, I mean, like it was like every type of sick. My sinuses were continuously draining for an entire week.
Yep.
I mean, like I was down and out from like throwing up, diarrhea. I mean, this is like, but
Yeah.
I
Same.
don't know. I mean, is that, and then I was like, research, is this normal? Is this not? Is it just because of, I thought I was going to feel great and I'm like, feel like I'm dying.
Yep. No, that's you're having die off. That's exactly what happened. Parasites literally they can create hormones like to mimic our hormones. They eat your food, they eat nutrition. So when they're starving or you're killing them, they're so PO, they're so mad, and they literally. So you could back off this next one. Make sure. And I will say this: you don't got to disclose on your own podcast, but make sure you're having bowel movements before you go
Oh, yeah.
into a parasite cleanse. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Always make sure you do 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. And for everyone listening or watching, 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. Now that's regular.
Yeah.
Having eating American food for 4 days and pooping every 4 days at 6 is not regular. So always have bowel movements throughout the day.
Mhm.
However, and then yeah, you could cut it back. What you also could do is start eating pumpkin seeds like right now. Just start eating pumpkin seeds every single day. 2 or 3 handfuls of pumpkin seeds every single day. You're going to start slowly killing them. So when you take the real big herbs, now we're going to be able to go in and really count. And like right now, we're in the middle of a retreat. So we do these amazing retreats and we only take 10 people at a time. And but they're a week long retreat or a little bit longer, and you're detoxing, and you do go through a liver and gallbladder cleanse if you wish, but you also are taking an antiparasitical tea every day, and it is tremendous the difference that it makes. Literally just 1 week of doing that, much less doing a full protocol. So I mean, ours is a bit stronger because we're monitoring them. But what you're doing is fantastic, and I love that you mentioned you're doing it on the full moon, even though that can be worse because woo, that's when they're
Yeah.
most active. So you're
Yeah.
killing them when they're most active. And so yeah, I could see that being an issue.
Okay, so you recommend right now, because actually just yesterday I started taking the binder and a drainage activator and
Good.
about and yeah, so I started taking those, so I got those going a week prior to the para kill off in.
Good.
But I should also start pumpkin seeds too.
Pumpkin seeds, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin seeds. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in America should be growing pumpkins and eating pumpkins. You cannot overdose on pumpkins. Here's the key on pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds have every essential amino acid, like phenomenal. So if you want to build a protein, eat pumpkin seeds. This whole protein comes from a cow thing. Oh, get over that. I know you're in Wisconsin, but like no, get over that. Your protein comes from plants. You can eat the plants, or you can eat the animals that eat the plants and get it secondhand. I don't really care what you do, but just don't be only eating meat to get protein. That's not actually how it works.
Mhm.
But your pumpkin seeds not only have all of your essential amino acids, but they also are phenomenal for the prostate. So any man in your life, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin seeds. I like the ones that are and I make them myself, but you can buy them at Costco and other places. Sprouted raw pumpkin seeds with salt, and salt is extremely important. So please, most people
Okay.
listening, do near enough salt, but don't eat Morton salt and the crap they try to sell you. You do not ever need iodized salt. That is toxic because that's not actual
Mhm.
iodine.
Mhm.
But anyhow, and so pumpkin seeds also make great pumpkin seed milk. So you can buy sprouted pumpkin seed butter, just like almond butter or walnut butter or Brazil nut butter or peanut butter, but ignore that. And that pumpkin seed butter, throw it in a blender with 2 or 3 cups of water, a little bit of vanilla if you want, a little splash of maple syrup, and you've got milk that is fantastic. And that literally will help you kill off your parasites. And for men, it's one of the best things to keep your prostate happy. So you're doing awesome, Mandy, that you're doing the cleansing, and I hope you invite people in your community to do them with you, so you guys can like do them together. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah, we have a couple others that are doing it too. So,
Awesome.
um, let's talk about inflammation a little bit. So, like the bloating or inflammation, how does let's say chronic inflammation, how does that have a long-term effect on health? Long-term health. How
I
does
will. Yes. I'm going to wrap up the SIBO and CMO bloating part just because that's crucial, and then we'll jump into and inflammation that's going to be easy or easy to at least talk about.
Right.
So, see, remember when I was talking about the ileocecal valve opening? So, the ileocecal valve connects the small intestine 23 feet to the 4 or 5 feet of your colon.
Mhm.
That valve, if it gets stuck open and little bacteria from your colon go into the small intestine, that bacteria is going to love it there and it is going to stay there. It is going to want to live there forever and have a bazillion babies, and it will. And that bacteria is eating all the sugar in there, which
Mm.
it doesn't get in the colon. In the colon, it just gets fiber, right? But that bacteria in the small intestine is getting everything and having a partay. And so it's off gassing. That's what causes bloating. So bacteria in the intestine, right? Not the stomach, which is up behind the rib cage. That doesn't do that. But in the small intestine, the bloating is bacteria off gassing. So it can be candida off gassing. Most often, it's the bacteria off gassing. If you have diarrhea along with the off gassing, that is SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And there's a specific diet for that because you do not want to have fiber. You don't want to take probiotics. You do not want to be eating sauerkrauts and all kimchis, all these things we tell you to eat on a regular basis. You actually can't eat when you have SIBO. Now, methane overgrowth is you not only have bacteria and viruses and parasites, oh my, you also have archaea. Archaea are a single cell organism that also live in the body and they eat the gas from the bacteria. Is that like what a dinner? Anyhow, so like the archaea are eating the gas from the bacteria. Now you have small intestinal methanogen overgrowth or methane overgrowth, and that gives you constipation. So if you're bloated with constipation, you have CMO. If you're bloated with diarrhea, you have SIBO. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as far as inflammation, inflammatory responses are very natural. Like everybody gets inflammation every day. Every day you probably have inflammation, and most inflammation is going to be great for you. It's the chronic inflammation that's not. So if you get bit by a, stung by a bee, boom, you're gonna have a little bit of inflammation. Inflammation is great. Why? Because it like blocks off the area from blood flow, or not actually, so from other well, make it simple. It'll block off an area. So now we have a lot more blood flow, right? It's puffing those arteries up. So we get more and more white blood cells to figure out what's going on. So it's like alert, alert, phew, we have a bunch of white blood cells that are racing to the area and we're kind of diverting everything else so we can make sure it's taken care of. Well, if you get 55 bee stings, whoop, now we're really blowing up. So now we're not in growth mode anymore. We have all of this inflammatory response. And so normal things aren't going to function in the body. And if our hormonal, if we have inflammation near our endocrine system glands, right, the hormone where the hormones are made, we're going to have a problem. So inflammation, feeling puffed up about something, we're going to get a bunch of itises, right? And so arthritis and blah blah blah, everything with itis on the end. And so we can easily get rid of inflammation. And the number one thing to do to get rid of inflammation is free. You literally go outside and you stand barefoot on the ground. You can stand barefoot on the ground. You can lay on the ground in jeans and cotton or linen, and you can literally absorb bazillions of negative ions that will get rid of inflammation. Boom. Most people can't just go do that because they're eating foods that are inflammatory. So when we eat inflammatory foods such as eggs and gluten and dairy and a lot of grain, those are inflammatory. Now they shouldn't matter if you have a healthy body, then you eat some of that and the body takes care of it and it's out of the body. So you don't deal with I do not deal with inflammation, but I've been doing this for decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just figured out my first green drink was exactly 40 years ago. So I'm 58. When I was 18, I took my first green drink and I started making them. And so my life has been different ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done this a long time. But so getting on an anti-inflammatory diet, now there's win-win for you because at least we're going to get the foods out of the body that are inflammatory. But guess what else causes inflammation? This computer screen you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
the CFL light bulbs that you're under, all of the fluorescent light bulbs. We are surrounded by EMFs and by frequencies that actually can inflame the body. Your router, the smart meter, like all these things can inflame the body. So it's not just food that can inflame the body, but our electrical environment is inflaming our body. But again, when the body's clean, that inflammatory response is be far less because you're eating antioxidants to help get rid of oxidative stress. You're eating anti-inflammatory foods, so you're reducing the inflammation. So that's, I mean, diet to me is everything when you start with an inflammation question. And then there's some great products people can take. There's herbs that help with with getting rid of inflammation, but finding the cause. And if you have, an issue with an organ and that's causing, if it's inflamed, then let's fix the organ. Like I'm huge into herbs. I love herbs. I have an entire apothecary. Like I don't know how many dozens and dozens and hundreds some herbs that we have, uh, and some are really weird, but that's okay. And so you can do herbal, tinctures. You can buy them from your local herbalist. There's so many things you can do to reduce inflammation, but the number one thing is just cut out inflammatory foods.
Right.
Hello, do you know everything you eat that's cooked causes inflammation 100% of the time? So if you cook something and you eat it, it's going to cause inflammation. Now, it's not going to be chronic inflammation unless all you eat is cooked food. Now you might have chronic inflammation because the body needs enzymes that are raw that come out of living food. So having salad with your food is going to help you not be so inflamed.
Mhm.
Plus, it's full of enzymes. See how this works? Like, it's so easy to understand the body when you take a bird's eye view and you just look at it again, you reassess it. So go home, find where your smart meter is on the outside of your home, and tell them to get rid of it and put an analog meter back on where they come and actually read how much electricity you've used. Because every 8 to 10 seconds, that smart meter is broadcasting a frequency which goes right through your house, unless you shield it, out to the electric company, telling them how much electricity you're using. They know when your garage door opens. They know when your washer and dryer is on. And Homeland Security is to thank for that, by the way. Aren't you feeling secure? But anyhow, and so like those things cause inflammation. Your cell phone is causing inflammation, so keep it away from you when you're sleeping. Like just be more aware, and then your inflammation can be greatly reduced. And you can ground yourself at night. Like I sleep on a grounding sheet.
Mhm.
I have a grounding mat under my feet right now. So
Mhm.
I do try to stay grounded. I teach a lot on electricity, by the way, because it's so important. It's so important. It's so important.
Thank you. This is such great information. Thank you.
Yay!
Um, so transitioning a little bit into from gut inflammation to gut and brain and mental health. Um,
Mm.
what's the connection between trauma, stress, and gut health? Can you talk a little bit
There's
about how they
I
connect?
can talk a little bit, yes, 'cause I only have a little bit of time. But yes, yes, it's 100% connected. So in our that gut feeling that you have, we have actually our gut actually manufactures neurotransmitters.
Mhm.
Now, neurotransmitters are made by the nervous system, and we've always been taught, and we think our nervous system is just our brain, which it is. Our brain is the breaker box of the nervous system. And so that breaker box is a lightning box. That's all it is. And literally, like right now, you're creating bazillions of little lightning strikes with the whole brain. It's incredible. But you actually also create neurotransmitters in the gut, serotonin and GABA, right? It is acetylcholine. If you don't have enough acetylcholine, you're never going to digest your food properly, right? And so, looking at deficiencies in the nervous system is probably the number one thing that we do. Because if in the United States of America, which is predominantly Western medicine, we've really screwed so much up. And the number one thing that we have screwed up is we have isolated all of our systems. So we have the digestive system, and we have the nervous system, and we have the endocrine system, and the reproductive system, and circulatory system, right? Excretory system. We have all these systems, and then we have different doctors who specialize in all those systems, and that is so wrong. Because if you go to the endocrinologist because your endocrines endocrines are wrong, your hormones are wrong or they're off, the endocrinologist only knows what medications to give for each one of the endocrine glands. What they don't tell you is that, oh, by the way, because they lose business, by the way, the entire endocrine system is actually run and managed by the nervous system. You might want to go see the neurologist. Well, they're not going to tell you that because they don't make any money if you go get a prescription from the neurologist. They only make money and they might not know. They honestly don't know. A lot of them don't know. They don't know. They don't know. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of doctors that are in my phone. We're friends. We communicate all the time. We talk about clients. I have doctors in our program at Holistic Health Educators, a medical doctor, another one just graduated, which is always fun because in order to graduate, they have to go through a practicum with me. And they love it. Because they are learning what they weren't taught in medical school, about cellular anatomy, and it's just really cool. It's a lot of fun. But anyhow, and so that nervous system controls the endocrine system. So when we say the gut brain axis, it's real because it's a nervous system axis from the gut to the brain. And for ADD, ADHD, all of that, the number one thing you can do to reduce ADD, ADHD, and literally 80%, and studies have been done on this, up to 80% of all humans taking Ritalin can get off of it by making one change. And that is to avoid side dishes. And I'm not talking coleslaw, honey. I'm talking the side additions of like insecticides and pesticides and herbicides and larvicides. Those are all designed to do one thing: kill a living nervous system, right? Kill the insect, kill the weed, kill this, kill the bug, kill the larvae in the pork chop. So when you put Coca-Cola on top of it and the worms come out, no one will see it anymore. And that's why they did it, because people like me were insane and were like, hey, put this pork chop, put Coca-Cola on it and see all the worms come up. You want to eat that? No, because they don't die. And so those pesticides and insecticides, those getting them out of the diet by going organic with your fruits and vegetables, your nuts and your seeds, there's more side dishes in 1 pound of cheese than is sprayed on an acre of vegetation. It's like people just do not realize they are eating their ADD, ADHD. They are eating their neurological disorders, which is your gut brain axis connection, right? So if we can eliminate what's causing the distress in our gut, and for our nervous system to be so depleted, and if we can bring in what heals the nervous system, which is really healthy oils, so you're balance your omega-3s and your 6s, and coconut oil and organic extra virgin olive oil, and eat avocados and walnuts and chia seeds and hemp seeds and flax seeds. There's so many great healthy forms of just those few things to bring you healthy oils. We don't recommend avocado oil on a regular basis. But anyhow, oil, and then the number one thing that destroys the nervous system. So this is the number one thing causing gut issues right now is sugar. So it's not just causing, so sugar feeds cancer, sugar feeds parasites, sugar feeds candida, and sugar destroys the nervous system, destroys the nervous system. I came up, so this pen, let's just say this is your nerve. So the outside is made of myelin sheath, and the little black ink, that's your nerve. That entire myelin sheath is made of oil, the fats you eat. So if you're eating really healthy fats, you're going to have a really strong, healthy myelin sheath, which is great. That's what you want. So let's say you're just putting all this money into good, healthy oil, and you're just putting a couple tablespoons of organic olive oil on your salad, and you're just doing great, right? And then you go and eat sugar every night. You have to have your ice cream every night. You have to have pasta. You have to have lots of grain. You have to have more sugar, sugar, sugar in your one soda, and then your next soda, and putting it in your coffee, and whatever else you're doing with sugar. Sugar destroys that myelin sheath, just eats it. It's gone. It's just crap. And so your nerves are literally being destroyed by sugar, and they're built by healthy oil. So now, just to look at the gut brain connection, we turn our attention to eating food that does not have any sprays on it. And ask, if you're going to a local farmer's market, ask them. They're very proud to tell you what they spray on it. So as soon as they start talking, go to the next booth. Oh, I don't think I want to put that on my children's plate. And then reduce the sugar dramatically, because it'll kill, it'll get rid of candida and parasites and cancer. That's what they all live on. And then bring in healthy oil. So just starting with that. So instead of go buy this or go buy that, don't just stop falling for all the gimmicks out there. We're so accustomed to going shopping to buy a supplement to heal something. Now, I use supplements. I recommend supplements. At all my retreats, we put people on supplements. We suggest them to supplement their diet while they're healing, a particular issue in the body. Do they have to stay on them? No. Should you always have certain things on hand? 100%. Most people are iodine deficient, and you'll never get it in the crap they're trying to sell you. You need nasty iodine. But like a lot of people are magnesium deficient. There's certain things that you're going to want to have around simply because you can't get it in your food. But the list of balancing the body supplements, no, you'll take them for 3 months, 6 months. Maybe if you have like really bad shingles, a lot of viruses, you can eliminate those, but it takes about 18 months, right? And so there's certain things that'll be longer. But to help the nervous system, it's as simple as that. Avoid side dishes, have much healthier oil, and get rid of sugar. Then if you've got a problem in 6 months, see me. Then go to one of our students, and then we'll talk. Go to you. You run a wellness clinic. But then there's going to be something else we can look at.
What is your favorite oil to use?
Extra virgin olive oil. And to understand oils in the first place, if you take a bunch of olives and they're beautiful organic olive oils, you have them all over Georgia, and you squeeze that olive oil, that first pressing is extra virgin olive oil. And if there's no heat involved, it's a cold press, extra virgin olive oil. That's what you want. That's the first pressing. The second pressing of the olives is olive oil. right? So you have extra virgin olive oil. You might have a virgin olive oil, which is the second pressing, depending on which company. Then you'll have olive oil. That's the third and the fourth pressing or more if they get a whole bunch of them together and they keep pressing them. So all of the nutrient density is actually in the first press. Most of the nutrient density is in the first pressing of the olives. Now, this goes for everything: walnut oil, pistachio, whatever kind of oil you're looking to get. And so that first press, that cold pressed extra virgin, is going to be what you want. So that's my favorite oil. We also love coconut oil. Actually, we do a lot with, I love coconuts though. So we use a lot of coconut in different things. And they don't all taste like coconut, by the way. Just because it's coconut does not mean it tastes like the coconut flakes that you're eating. Some of them, we'll get into coconut our time. But yeah, otherwise coconut oil. Those are the two top oils. I actually love tea seed oil a lot. But I sold so much tea seed oil at my stores, and I wrote it in my recipe book. It's the only oil I used. It's hard to find tea seed oil, and that's not tea tree oil. Tea seed oil is the pressing of the seeds that grow your black and your green and your Earl Grey tea, which is all the same seed. It's all the same plant.
Mhm.
And so pressing those seed oils, the tea seed oil, that's phenomenal. If you can find that, great, grab that. It's expensive, but it is absolutely fantastic. So
Okay. And then you were talking about the sugars. Are you talking about sugars in like food, or what about natural sugars that are in like fruits and stuff like that?
those are fine. Yeah,
Okay. That.
the
That.
natural sugars will still feed candida.
Hmm.
So be careful. And if you have like a lot of cancer, it'll still feed the cancer because that's what cancer thrives on. That's if people don't know that, every doctor in the world knows that cancer thrives on sugar because if you have a PET scan, then you are going to drink radioactive sugar in a little crystallite container, and you have to wait a half an hour while that radioactive sugar goes through your bloodstream because cancer will start eating the radioactive sugar, and then the cancer is now has radioactive elements in it. So now we can put a gamma ray, we can put the PET scan, put you through a PET scan, and all the cancer in your body is going to light up.
Hmm.
So if you don't know that sugar feeds cancer, right now you do. So do not eat another donut. None of you. You don't. I mean, if you want a donut, eat the ones I make in my recipe book because they're delicious and they only have some maple syrup. Oh, they're so good. But anyhow, like be more aware of what you're eating
Yep.
because it's real. So your monk fruit, obviously that's fine. Your stevia, that's 600 times more sweet than sugar. That's great. There's other things you can be doing. If you're going to do sugar, use cane sugar, organic cane sugar. If it says sugar, it's not sugar. That's a genetically modified beet sugar. So anything that says sugar, don't buy it. Natural flavoring, don't buy it. There's like 6,000 things that can be hidden. But you do want to look at extra. If you get organic cane sugar, if you're making your lemonade, then do that. So be careful on that.
Okay. Sounds
My
good.
videographer just jumped in, so I'm like, I might as well smile. But anyhow, okay, I'll smile.
Um, quick question here. What are three gut healing foods that you love?
Gut healing foods. Oh, so it depends on what you're dealing with. You got to be careful because if it's SIBO or SIMO, you can't have like fiber and all. Um,
Hmm.
so let me tell you the herbs that can help you heal the entire lining of the gut. Let's do those three
Okay, sure.
because these are very, and you can buy them just by in the bulk, right?
Mhm.
But marshmallow root, slippery elm, and licorice root. Those are the top three herbs to heal the actual lining of the entire 27-foot intestinal system.
Okay.
So many of my clients who have leaky gut, like you, sweetie, I would immediately recommend a teaspoon of slippery elm and a teaspoon of marshmallow root powder mixed up in some water first thing in the morning and at night, or sometime throughout the day. I don't care when you drink it. And drink it about 8 to 10 ounces or more of water. I had one gentleman just put it in a big quart jar, and that's what he drank throughout the whole day. But the licorice root can now not be used if you have any, obviously, blood issues. But licorice root for most people, oh my gosh, it's absolutely fantastic. And licorice root also helps with like indigestion, and that's why
Mhm.
you buy EGL, the English licorice. But anyhow, but slippery elm and marshmallow root, and then licorice, phenomenal. And so now I'm not prescribing anything. I'm just saying, that's what many of my clients have done. Countless clients, thousands over the last
Yeah.
20 years I've been seeing people. So that would be my first thing. And then avoid sugar for the gut.
Mhm.
Definitely bring in fiber. If you're not dealing with bloating, you need fiber because all of the healthy microbiome depends on fiber. Fiber is useless to you. It will do nothing. There's no minerals, no vitamins, nothing. But fiber is the ultimate and the only food source, the main food source for bacteria. in the colon. And that is how you stay healthy, because those thousands of varieties of bacteria in your colon are what are going to help fight off disease and keep your entire body in check.
Thank you. I am
You're welcome.
definitely going to be looking into those that you mentioned. Thank you so much. Okay. Um, a little bit of this or that. I'm gonna, and no, not really too much thinking, just one or the other. I'm gonna throw some stuff at you. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Um, sourdough or gluten-free bread?
Oh, don't eat gluten-free bread. No one. That's all starch. So if you don't have celiac, then do a little bit of sprouted sourdough. So, but yeah, gluten-free bread is pretty toxic. Now, I make a really great gluten-free bread, but that's not sold anywhere. So, I mean, like if you want to make the almond bread recipe, I got to put that on my blog. I'll put that on Facebook or something. But yeah, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Bone broth or green juice?
Depending on what you're doing. Because if you, green juices are amazing.
Mhm.
And they're very healing to the body, very healing to the gut. I mean, celery juice alone is healing to the gut. So I guess it depends what you're doing. Bone broth can help with some of the issues people may have with their bone structure, but you're going to get all your vitamins, minerals in your green drink. So I would definitely go with green.
Perfect.
Bone broth if you have really severe digestive issues.
Uh-huh.
Then we would do that for like 4 weeks and then go to the green.
Perfect. One more here on nutrition. Intermittent fasting or 3 balanced meals?
No, no, 100% intermittent fasting, always, 100% of the time. Don't eat 3 meals a day. No one on the planet needs 3 meals a day. That's actually not even good for your body. The whole breakfast cereal crap, that is a ploy. It makes you sick. Don't eat it. Do not eat it. Oh my gosh, it's toxic. So the only thing you want to eat between when you wake up in the morning and noon is produce. Have some soup, have some, or some millet, or a little bit of some buckwheat if you want something heavier. But no, 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 just keep it produce until noon and you're going to feel phenomenal. And we love intermittent fasting. Love it.
One thing for listeners to say, just to improve.
If they're not bloating, get on probiotics. At least start some diversity. Eat some raw sauerkraut. Get a diverse probiotic, not just lactobacillus. You can take lactobacillus, but then you must take something different. And if you don't have an appendix, you'll be switching up your probiotics for the rest of your life because they just sucked out of you one of the most important parts of your immune system. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This conversation was exactly what I needed, and I am taking so much from it myself personally because of my gut issues. And it's been a work in progress for me for the last 3 years. So, talking to you and all about all this was so helpful. I'm hoping that so many of you that are listening can get good takeaways from this. And I'm going to put in Zuzu's information in the show notes below. So, connect with her if you have questions. Check out her website and share this episode with a friend who you feel can take some good notes off of it. So until next time, stay strong, stay aligned, and take care of your gut. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hey y'all, the information shared in this podcast is for educational and motivational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.